Hello my friends, welcome back. I'm Michael Smell and this is Stinky Robot Studios, where we draw robots and animals and all kinds of fun stuff. So welcome to the channel, welcome to the stream. If you're first time here, don't forget, there's that thumbs up button down there, smash it for me. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you know when we go live. We go live weekly here on the channel and we work on a piece of art until it's finished. So if it's your first time here, don't forget those buttons. Also, it'll help you out if you want to. We are doing a contest on June 16th for Rusty's Pigeons. It's one of my limited edition prints. I'll be giving one of those away, as well as 2 of the live stream arts. So if you want to get entered in that contest, it's real simple. First, you got to make sure you subscribe to the channel. It is a subscription-based contest. And secondly, after you get done watching the stream, jump over to my website, stinkyrobotart.com. All the details are down below in the description. And on the homepage on the website is the entry form. So hopefully I'll get you all subscribed and jump over there for your chance to win. We'll be doing the prize drawing on June 16th during a live stream. So make sure you tune in on June 16th to see if you won. With that, guys, we're just going to be real quick and simple today. We're going to jump right in and start drawing. Join me in the chat if you want to have something to say. Any questions are welcome, or if you just want to hang out and talk about random things, by all means, jump down there and I'll be sure to try to answer them if I'm not too busy drawing, but I will be keeping an eye on the chat. So join me, guys, as well. Anything you want to see me draw, you got any ideas for me to draw with my robots, then yeah, you can always leave me a comment down below. Love to hear from you guys, or just tell me what you think of the work. You guys are all awesome, and I appreciate everyone who has been leaving the comments. Get a drink here and we'll get started. As you see, I do run a clock up the top corner. Just kind of helps us guide how long we've spent on the drawing. We always aim to keep it under 3 hours. Kind of been landing more around the 2.5 hour mark for most of them. Also, we've started doing some preliminary sketches, something I didn't do in the beginning of the live streams, but I'm kind of getting a little more into doing these just quick, simple preliminaries. If you watch the earlier live streams, you'll notice that I do these live, and I try to do them within 30 minutes, typically around about 20-25 minutes on a sketch. Outside of this, I'm still keeping those same parameters. These are only running me about 20-25 minutes, just a quick sketch. I'm not trying to overthink them. But by doing a pre-sketch, I'm allowing myself to give just a little more detail in the process, and I'm getting a little further into the drawings on the live streams. So if that's something you like, definitely leave me a comment. Say, hey, I do appreciate the sketch work ahead of time. Or if it's something you, hey, bring back the sketch and I want to see that, by all means, leave me a comment down below and let me know. We'll kind of take votes on it. Well, that'll help me guide me through the channel and what we're doing here on the live streams. What's up, Jason Chanley? How's it going, my friend? Yep, we're working on the giant snails today. Thought that'd be kind of fun. Let me grab my pen here and we're gonna start inking this in. We'll draw right into the drawing. All right. Now last week I did a live stream with the drawing that I did. I actually did a full blackout background. It was the first one I've done since I started working with these inks, and it turned out phenomenal. I absolutely love the way it turned out. So I think we're going to be doing that on this drawing today. Once we get a little bit further in, we'll be able to tell. Maybe there's something we change our mind on later, but I kind of see myself doing another blackout background, just kind of play with that a little bit, see how those are looking. It could be possibly a new direction we might start heading, but we will see at the end. Feel free in the chat or as we go along, when I get further into the actual inking process, if you something you think we should holler out. Black out the background or don't black out the background. Kind of. I'll take all the comments into advisement. I'm picturing doing a real simple bot today. And keep him real simple. I'll probably add a lot of rust elements to him. So he'll probably be a pretty rusty. Just basic metal bot, rusted out, kind of a generic bot. But then all the details come into the snails. We should do a lot of detail work when we start playing with these snails. Into the snails last. Let's get this bot all drawn in here real quick. Even the eyes we're keeping simple. We're just going to do real basic round hollowed eyes. And yep, we're going to add some rivets for sure. Rivets later will allow us to do some real basic techniques to play with when we get to the rust details. Play all the rust off these rivets. It's a simple process, but it can add a lot of impact to a piece. We'll go that route for sure. Okay. Basically all I'm worried about right now is just getting nice, clean, long lines. Once I ink, a lot of this stuff will get wiped out, especially if we do the outlining in black. A lot of this detail work will get flushed back out, but initially it needs to be there. Keep it quick and simple. Okay. Got the bot all inked in. Now let's ink some snails and we can start going in with the acrylic inks as soon as we're done there. Right, one snail down. Sounds like fam was getting back from volleyball practice. It's sports day in the old Smell household. Son's off to baseball practice. Daughter just got back from volleyball practice. Question is she just my daughter, or is it my daughter and a herd of little all of her friends? I will know in just a second. If you hear giggly girls in the background, sounds like all of her friends might have came. All right, 2 snails down. We got 1 more snail to go. Yep, that sounds like a herd of girls. Oh. Always comical to listen to. You can hear them be quiet. They're trying so hard to be quiet. Not at all. Today we're going to be using the FW inks. That's the brand I've kind of picked up and started working with. Not sure if they're the best brand or not, but if you use another brand or you like something different, let me know in the comments. What brand are you using? Or you got any brands that I should try out? Maybe I might do some comparisons at some point. See what inks work the best. Like I said, we only used really only one kind here on the channel, so wouldn't hurt me to branch out and try something new. If you got any ideas, let me know. Okay, looks pretty good to me. 2 jumbo snails. Let's erase this and let's start doodling. Oop, there's a line. There's a big old fancy line we missed. It's going to be real important. Would have noticed that pretty quick that we missed that one. There we go. To the eraser now, I can get rid of that. Rid of some of that ghosting in there that you get from rubbing your hands over the graphite. There we go. We got a sketch. We got a drawing. We got something to play with. Okay. Starting simple enough with the robot. I think I'm going to be using what's going on, Tank? Good to see you, brother. A little bit of blue. Maybe just a little bit. Nah, not yet. Go with that. Blue, indigo, and antelope. It will get some green overlay with that combination, but absolutely fine with me. I am. If I can find my colors here. Keep saying it, but one of these days I'm going to make a little organizing system that makes it way easier for me to find my colors. One of these days. Indigo, and I just need my antelope. Yeah. Yellow. There she is. Got some antelope there. Okay. And of course, we will be bringing in the gray. Now, I'm not sure how much this orange color we're really going to need, but we're going to add a little bit into the shadow details, and then a little bit into the blue. We're going to rub in some of the antelope in there a little bit, and then we're going to start grayed out, and we'll start rusting after that. So let's jump in and let's start working. Start with a little bit of a wider brush, get myself a clean paper towel. Really watery. Really just kind of for a splash of color here. Not gonna overdo it on this. Just want to add, because it's gonna be one of the main colors in the snails, so kind of want to bring it just slightly into the reflective areas. It can be extremely subtle. In fact, we've got just about enough out there. Good enough. Right there. Good enough. Say that as I add more. Okay. Super subtle. That's all it needed to be. Now we'll come in here with that blue. Add. Now this blue, when we go over to chop that flesh tone that I used a second ago, will turn out to be somewhat green. That's okay. We want to keep this real light. I do not want to get too dark with it at all, especially if we're going to do the blackout. Shadows up. Remember, light to dark, just taking our time, building layers. We do not jump out of the gate getting super dark in the beginning. Just take our time. Of shadows right there. Now let's just keep washing it in. The blue on this side, again, extremely light. Maybe just hardly showing up at all on the camera. I'm working that light. Cool. The head. Now let's move down and do some stuff on the body. Keep on blending it. Then we'll pull the indigo out in just a second. Basically the same thing all over again. Now, do I go center part of the neck? Keep that the metal tone, or should I make that more of a blackened detail? Them is the question. There. Or, aka. Let's see. A little bit of an exercise in thought there. Keep on scrubbing this in. Kind of jumping straight into the muddy phase a little bit. It's a very light muddy phase. We're not getting crazy. It's not at this phase. Keeping it nice and simple, nice and light. It'll all come together at the end because I'm going to add a lot of rust details and everything else. I don't want to get too crazy and make it dark. Not need to be overpowering. Hey Stace, how's it going? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it all metal. I think I'm gonna even do these rings in here metal. No, I take it back. We'll go black in there. We'll go with a black neck. Alright. Come back in here. A little bit there. Again, now I'm using this to almost make a greenish color. I think plays off pretty good with the snails. Okay. Subtle details right now. Okay. Okay, let's bring in some indigo, guys. Move to the next step. Bring in the indigo. Well, we're gonna work the darker down just a little bit more. After this, we'll follow it up with the gray. And the majority of the work was gonna come in the snails. That's where we're gonna get into a lot of our detail snails. And we still got the rust to come into. Of course, we're gonna have to work on these rivets a little bit too. I've not yet added any detail to the rivets, but that's gonna have to happen in just a second. Right now I'm just using it to darken everything in somewhat. Trying to stay light, not overpowering. Working up that shadow some, just right up at the base of the snail. This right here. And one more snail. We got 3 of those little suckers right there. Sweet. Right. Oh, we need to go around and add just a little bit of shadow to each one of these rivets. Water down. And just on the back side of each one of these rivets, opposite of our light source, just need to put a little bit of a shadow. Also doesn't hurt us to kind of color in the back of these rivets as well, because remember we're going to have to put a little bit of dimension to these rivets as highlights. So we're just going to darken each one of them up. Just like so. Okay, that's rivets darkened. Just cruising. Let's get in metal tone by adding some gray now to those blues. Use this to blend in the white a little bit. Don't forget, we are going to make it rusty today. Not the rusty, but we're going to make rust elements on. Bye. Real light. Same deal with the gray. We're going to paint the gray in. The areas we leave white are basically our big giant white highlights, so that we don't have to use it. White ink on those. We just left them white. Right over the blue, and then right over that green flesh tone as well. We're going to end up with something really nice and blended like that. And that is the base that we would want to start from when we add our highlights and shadows. A little darker on this one, so we'll add back to the indigo a little bit. Feather the indigo and the blue together, the gray right there. So, good. All right, let's see. Bring in more of this gray. Let's keep this gray coming. Too dark, let's lighten it up. Basically, we're just going to keep adding and scrubbing in light, different shades of gray from very, very light to a little bit of darkness. Going back and forth and building up so we're happy with where we're at. Remember, we will come back over the final pass of lights and shadows at some point. Flip it around, just makes it easier for me to work. Remember, I'm working quick because I have wet ink out, and wet ink is gotta work quick with it. Otherwise, you get stuck with what's on the paper without going through some extra steps to lighten it. Anyways, there are always ways to lighten things up, but you want to be quick, and the lighter and the thinner you're making inks, the faster it's going to dry. So the quicker you're going to work. So that's why I do a lot of the rotating as I go. Just helps me get things where I want it, when I want it. And you can see I'm going to start adding a little bit of the rust details. Into the just pure dark gray. We'll build on top of that here in a little bit. I always like to make some rust elements coming right out of the eyes because I feel like those open eyes would be an area that water and rust would. Which always gives a bit of a tear track, but it's more of a rust track. Add a little bit of that in there. Same one down here. We're gonna not get too carried away with the rust detail, but before we move on to the rest of the body, I'm just gonna add some darker elements in here. Kind of pit this gray. It'll help us in a little bit when we start adding the rust and where to put it. Kind of lower areas where rust would build is where we're gonna go. And I am out of gray. We need to get some more up there. Water back down. Let's move down below. We'll come back here at the final end and give it a little more of a push. The finale of it. Right now, let's keep on blending this gray and with these colors. Go. That's good. When you're blending these inks, remember the darker you want it, you can go straight ink with no water. The lighter you want it, the more water you add. Just blend as you go, working what I say, always light to dark. That way you can make sure you walk it into the tone you want instead of like overdoing it and trying to walk it back. Better to just start light, walk into it. Pretty happy with that. Yep, I'm really happy with that. Now I'm going to go back in, like I said, to just pure darkest gray I can get. And I'm going to add some pitting, just some scribbles here. Help define later rest. Here. Now these rivets are going to be definitely a source of some rust, so we're going to run a little bit of rust right off the edges. And right into the center line. Base. A little busy right there, but we can build the rest. We'll work on pulling that back. Maybe, or we'll make it a bit deeper. One way or another, gonna get rusty. All right, so there we go. work towards our benefit. Limiting how much shading we have to do. Well, I'm going to do mainly right here at the shadow line. This is where it's going to make the most impact here in a minute. Right here at the shadow. There is off kilter right there. On off kilter. Another one of those quiet live streams today. Not a lot of commotion going on in the chat room, but that's just fine. Feel free to leave a chat if you'd like to, guys. Any suggestions and ideas you have about things you'd like to see me draw or work on? Any particular animal or any particular idea for a robot or anything like that? No idea is a bad idea. Make sure you drop a line in the comments. Some things I may end up producing. Doesn't mean I'll do it, but you may spark an idea or a concept that I hadn't previously thought about. Or you may push an idea I've had but haven't done yet to the forefront. So by all means, you got any concepts or ideas for me, let me know. I'd love to hear them all. There are no stupid ideas, so by all means. Start adding these shadows in. Gonna hit that rust. Work too heavy. It's really easy to get too dark right now, and that's one thing we don't want to do. Too dark. Okay. Cool. Now on that white background, he looks real light. Remember, when we go black, or if we go black, should look great. Okay, let's work on this neck real quick while I got this Payne's gray out. Then we'll a little bit of white. Mix this with some white. Kind of go for a nice gray. A Payne's gray. That makes any sense. I'm mixing Payne's gray with white to get the dark bluish gray, basically. We're gonna blend this. I'll go away to white. I will blend this in. Go back and forth to the panes and to the grays and blend it all in, make it look good. That's key. Work it till it looks great. Work on our blends. Everything is still wet. Let it blend real nice. Do it one more time with the pure paints, and then we will start adding the highlights and including on the neck. I start here with the neck actually. Shaggy hairline out of the way. All right, back into the whites. There we go. Easy enough. Now I got some neck details. Super easy. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ring the outside of the face with a white, because remember, we're gonna go to the black background and we're gonna want that sharp white line. Pull off some of these details. So wrist in the white line. That's always fun when I do that. Be careful that you don't stick your hand in the crisp white line. I do have a bad habit of doing that. I'm pretty sure I do it to every single drawing. Don't feel bad if you do it, because we all do it. Now this outline line is not something you have to do, it's just something that I've gotten in the habit of doing. It adds character to the drawing. I just like the way it looks. Add some separation and let your piece pop a little bit. So it's up to you whether you want to do that or not, but it's something I do. You know how I work. Alright. Let's do some rust, shall we? So we're going to start off with a little bit. You know, I thought I was going to use the antelope, but I have yet to use it. So let's see if the antelope works or if I need to bring big guns. Try the antelope first. If it does not work, we'll switch over to the umber. But shoot for this first. And I'm actually going to take. Let's see here. I am locked up. Why am I locked up? Hopefully I'm still streaming, guys. I am completely locked up on my end of things. I am just going to hope that I am still streaming. Kind of impossible for me to tell right now. Give me 1 second. Let's see if I can get this fixed on my end. Give me 1 second here, because I have no idea if I'm live or not. All right, 1 second. Alright, I think I'm still streaming. It says I'm still streaming. I had the iPad glitch on me here, so that sucks when that happens. Been pretty fortunate, it hasn't happened in a while. Find my cursor. Over here where it belongs. Alright, yep. Sorry about that. I hate when that happens. Figured I was still live, but whenever my screen in front of me locks up, I have no way of knowing or seeing the chats or even if I'm still live. So I had to double check that, but I think we're all good. Now, what was I going to do? We're going to start off here with the antelope. I'm going to be using my fancy toothbrush. It's been well loved toothbrush. We're just going to kind of start working where we want the rust details to be. It'll be a little bit scratchy. Allows me to be a little bit scratchy. With the drier ink on the brush gets, the better it looks. Oh, good night, Addie. What have I been into? Pretty much just living and breathing research on YouTube and analytics and how to better my videos. Got a whole series of, well, not to give away too much, but these ink drawings that I do for the live streams, I'm going to start doing, not all of them live, but I'm going to start doing artwork based on them and then do short little, about 10-minute videos, right, give or take, so that you don't have to watch an entire live stream to see them come to life. So that's gonna be kind of fun. I'm looking forward to doing that. Now that looks, yep, this rust is looking pretty good, guys. I like this. Hopefully you can see on your end what it looks like. But I want to add these random, just kind of random drops of rust around. But yeah, so starting here real soon. I don't have an exact date I want to announce it, and they're just going to kind of happen when I film them. They'll show up on the channel. So I will be doing, those randomly as content. You'll start seeing more quick tutorials on these things being created, and then I'm not going to quit going live. We're going to be definitely keeping the live stream going at least 1 day a week minimum, occasionally 2 days a week. We're kind of playing by ear. We're getting ready to enter the next phase of the YouTube channel. That'll be a lot of fun. What's up, WT? I'm also starting to work on designing some larger body work that is also in the pipe, so there'll be some bigger stuff coming. I also scored a gallery show for next year on the book, so Oh, I'm not going to announce just yet. Well, the announcement come next. When it gets closer to next year, I don't want to announce something this far away, but we did sign up for a show in 1 year's time, so that's going to be something I'll be working on over the next year, getting ready for that show. Okay. Now we're going to do the exact same thing. Let's clean this brown off a bit. We're going to do the exact same thing, but this time we're going to use the white ink. We're going to put that right on top of that rust. This will, 2 parts. 1, it'll lighten it up a little bit. And 2, the added speckles will kind of bring out more rust looking details in it. And then we'll have one more step after that and we'll have the rust done. Part goes pretty quick once you start it, which is nice. Shadows. Tap at my finger here just because I don't want it to be overdone. White, kind of rub it down with my finger a little bit, pulls some of that ink off, lightens it up. One last detail here, and then we can add the white highlights throughout the piece. You can tell here as I kept that blue so light and did not allow them to get too dark. It's very subtle how they play off the grays, building that real metal look to it. But if I gone too dark with the bright cyan blue, initially that would have not happened. Okay, so now we're going to take a thin brush. We're going to actually go in here with our earth red, because we want to add just a tiny little bit of redness to the rust. Because right now it's just brown and white, so very little of this, and it's going to be very watered down. We do not want a very dark color. A nice light color to it. A lot of water. Pretty much doing like a 60-40. Leaning towards water heavy. And then I'm gonna come in here and just not over the entire thing, just the part of it. That's a little too water heavy. I might have to go a little darker. Just a bit. Some of that. Okay, I'm not as in love with that as I thought, so let's see if we can pull some of this off. Alright, I didn't love that quite as much as I thought I would, so we're gonna rewind that thought process, put a little bit more of the antelope on top of it, and just it's got a little pinkish color in there, but didn't work out quite like I liked. So I have this translucent iron that I use when I'm using my heavy bodied acrylics. This, we're just gonna do some water wash here of this antelope. And when I use that color, the translucent, I think it's called translucent iron oxide, And that really pops my rust. I thought I would be able to do that with that earth red. So not as much as I thought. So no big deal. So we're just gonna come back over here now with this and add some staining. There it is. Okay. Happy with that. I am very happy with that. Now we're gonna come in here with white highlights I missed, which is gonna be right here on this side. I want to bring some highlight right up in here. Really is not a lot to add here. We're pretty solid on how much white we left in there. So I'm not like I have to add a lot. Cool. I think we're good. I have a frozen screen again. That's awesome. So, not sure what the iPad's doing today, but the iPad is disagreeing with the live stream. I'm gonna fix it one more time, and if it doesn't fix after this, we may have to abandon the iPad today. Let's see. Yeah, I noticed earlier, Tank, on your Facebook, I saw the trees, and that's looking real good. Looking real good. But it's like anything, you know, you want to master trees, you paint 1,000 trees. I was telling that to my son today. Earlier we were talking about, because he was struggling a little bit on the disc golf course. We went out and played a little game between the rain breaks today. And we were talking about how, you know, you're going to get better at this. You know, you're on game number, I think he's probably running around 50 games. Like, by the time you get to 200 games, you'll have to start figuring this thing out. By the time you get to 2,000 games, who knows, maybe you'll go pro. But it takes time, and you got to build. Like these robots, I can do this rust detail because I've done the rust detail. I couldn't even tell you how many times at this point, but it's dozens, or at least dozens of times. So now I got it down where I can do it real quick and just knock things out. Whereas in the beginning, I struggled. A lot of them looked way too overdone or underdone, and some of them were just absolute, you know. But I had to build the skill level where I've done it repetitively so many times that I can just knock it out. So yeah, and I do that all the time. There's elements, like one thing I struggle with today is hands. And I swear I've done hundreds of hands, and I still can't draw hands to save my life. I hate hands. But I don't think I'm the only artist who struggles with hands. I've had some good hands. I can do hands. But when I do them, I struggle. I don't think I've ever had a good, easy time of hands. But, you know, every artist has that one thing that just, no matter what, you struggle with. Maybe by the time I've drawn 1,000 hands, I will finally have gotten there. Like, maybe that's what I should do. Not a bad idea for the channel. Like, maybe I should just sit down and spend time developing, you know, and practicing certain shapes and textures or elements that I struggle with, you know. And maybe I need to get the sketchbook out one day and go live and say today we're drawing 20 hands or something like that. It's really not a bad idea for my own, not just for the YouTube channel, but for my own personal growth as an artist, as I should be working on things like that. Whole practice what you preach kind of thing. All right, now we're just gonna tap in our highlights on our rivets, and then guys, it's time to make us some snails. I have no idea when the last time I drawn a snail was. I know I've drawn them in the past. I have sketched out snails before, but we'd have to go way back in the old sketchbooks to find those. Oh, that'd be fun. I had a friend of mine back in high school, and Katie O'Mara. And Katie, I don't know, for a while there she kind of nicknamed me Snail Trail, my last name being Smail. So she'd call me Snail Trail. So my sketchbook back in high school, I had did a couple little snails, and just because, you know, did them for her. She would call me Snail Trail. Luckily, that was not one of the nicknames that stuck, but I've had a few doozies of nicknames over the years. That one was not one of them, thank God. Alright, this robot is done. Except for his eyes being black. We'll do that when we black out the background, so that can wait. These snails, let's move our palette back out. Let's start all over with a new palette. Leave the Payne's Gray out. I'll leave the indigo out. I'll leave the... Okay, basically the only thing, I'll put the gray and the blue away. Everything else stays out. And we're going to add purple. Also going to jump off this live stream for a few minutes here, guys. So hold that thought. Oh, great. When it rains, it pours. We're having some live stream issues. Oh well. Wait a second, I'm gonna try something here, guys. Let's get this charging. Now we'll try it again. Alright. We'll see if this works. I tried one last thing. I'm about to determine that my iPad is going to work for me today. It was actually decreasing the battery significantly, so what I did was turn it off, made sure it was charging, and put it back on. So we'll see if that works. Yeah, I know the stream is working good, but I can't see what's being said. And right now, I'm about to on my iPad. I've got a whole bunch of snails on my iPad for visual reference, so I need to be able to see them. Otherwise, I'm drawing purely from memory, which, I mean, can be done. It's not to say I can't do it. I just prefer... I would prefer to be drawing them from some kind of source. Again, they're going to be stylized anyways. So I will not be able to read the chat here for a few minutes, guys, because I switched off, at least from being able to read the stream to seeing pictures of snails. So... Actually, I don't need it just yet. Let's go back to the stream. There we go. I can read you now. I'm going to flip back and forth, but I'm going to try to stay primarily on you guys so I can read comments. So we'll start with the snails, I guess. Or at least some of the white highlights in here. Question is, how detailed do I want to get with these? Because I could take them to a high level of detail, or I can kind of just, you know, work in some details. So that's the question. I think it'd be really easy for me to accidentally overwork them, so we're going to be a little cautious of that. I think we're going to try to shoot for a happy medium on the detail level. I think we can get there. A little snail will be easy. Alright, so let's work on the slug first and the shell second. Kind of put a little pattern into this guy a little bit. Interesting. We'll build that up a little bit. Build up more detail as we build it. Put that shadow down. Cool. I need to switch over to a little bit smaller brush because that's going to be a little bit on the thick side. So we'll whittle that down. Let's see, I have a smaller brush. Smaller brush. This one. Go. And we're mixing the antelope with that flesh tone. And we're just going to kind of mix. May end up putting a little bit of ochre over top of it here in a minute. That yet to be decided. We will see as we go. Cool. Now what to do in the face, that's the other question. I think I just continue this right up into the face. Of course, I will blend this in, darken it up, then we'll use highlights to kind of wash out some of this detail in the face, because I think it's a little awkward if there's too much detail in the face, but we want a little bit for sure. A little bit of detail. We need to make sure we don't overdo it. Initially, we will build it up just to tear it down. Build it up, tear it down. Now, let's blend this in a little bit. Cool. Same thing goes for down here. Send a little bit. We'll add. Cool. Blend this ink in a little bit. Add white highlights and shadows in this in a minute, and that will pull that all together. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring the other snails quickly to that level so that they're all coming from the same. They're all being developed about the same pace. We don't want to get too worked out, too far ahead of ourselves. Once. All right, if you guys haven't seen or noticed right above my head right here, right there, that's Rusty's Pigeons. That is a print we're giving away, as well as 2 of these live stream drawings. Which 2 drawings will be announced as the date gets a little bit closer, or probably maybe even the day of. We're giving these. The drawing will be June 16th. To enter, it's real simple. You got to make sure you're subscribed. It's going to be a subscriber-based contest, so get subscribed to the channel. Jump over to the website. On the homepage on the website, StinkyRobotArt.com, which is that website right here below me. Get yourself entered into the contest, And I will be drawing a winner on the live stream on June 16th. Make sure you're yourself entered for your chance to win a limited edition print or one of the live stream drawings. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you know exactly when I go live on that day, and you won't miss any of the contest, and you'll make sure that you know if you won. Wish everybody luck. Okay. There we go. These two snails don't need as much detail as the main snail. He's the biggest and main one, so we gotta make sure that he definitely the strongest. So before we go in, let's go in here. We're going to use the Payne's Gray now. We're going to bring in some of this texture shape. Then we'll go into pure white, and then the snail will be completed. Start off with some Payne's Gray. Get these shadows going. Too much. Let's quickly water it down while it's thin down that shadow. Oh boy, that got a little too dark. A little too dark. Oh well. We work with what we got, guys. Let's darken that up. Remember, the key is to not use too much ink at once. We want to keep it nice and work on our, pay real close attention to our water ratios. Really important how much ink we're laying down at once. We'll work from light to dark and work it until it feels right. A little bit of highlighted detail or shadow details in here. Again, remember, keep it nice and light. that. Let's move on to the other two snails, and then we'll come back and we'll add the white highlights. Some ways, the snail texture does mimic a little bit of what we got going on in the rust detail. Maybe not as extreme, but that's by design. Helps tie the two together, I think. So far the iPad is holding in there like a trooper. Hopefully with the little fix I did, it's gonna work. Keep it going. All right, now let's go to the white. Some more white out there. Now these highlights are key to making all this pop. As you see, these little dots. Really bring it together. Great. Good. Okay. Pretty good to me. Less required on the rest of the snails. Just need a little tiny bit. They're not the hero snail. Okay. Cool. Happy with that. And I don't actually think I'm going to add the yellow ochre. I want to keep those skies the same color as the rust. So, now the shell should be basically the same color, except we are going to do a little bit different on these, and we're going to add in a little bit of purple, a little bit of blue into the shells. Everything else will be the same colors. But I don't want to get carried away, so Boy, I almost don't know if I want to go black background or not. Want to, probably will. The more I look at it on a white surface, I'm like, man, that looks so good. But we'll find out in a minute if it works or not, because I think we're going there. Decisions will be need to be made soon. All right, we're gonna start out with this purple. And we're gonna keep it right up in the crevices. First, we need to start working out the shapes of the shell. Thanks, Jason. Okay, we're going to use this purple to kind of lightly start sculpting the overall shape of the shell. We're going to add several layers of color. We're going to make the shell pretty darn colorful. I think this is our main splash of color for this painting, or this drawing, or whatever you want to call it, the inking. Main color source will be these shells. So purple in, and then we'll build the next color. Okay, that's pretty good. The purple on the other shells, and then we'll go into the next color, which would probably be blue. have to go as crazy with these little ones, of course. Get a little bit of detail here on the shells. So, again, we're building as we go. Of course, this show will be the least amount of detail, obviously. This one just kind of work on more of the way, just the direction of light, and then the similar colors as the other snails. We're not going to get overly detailed with that little guy right there. There's no need to do so. Okay. Shake your head on my face, get myself a drink, and move into some indigo. Indigo will be our next color. And this is our indigo. I believe we're going to add a little red on this one, and this one will also, we're going from blues to reds. This piece. We're using the blue over the purple here to just kind of help sculpt that in a little more of the detail work. You don't want to cover all the purple up at all. You want to leave most of that purple showing, because that purple is just beautiful. Add some screaming girls, you heard that. Now, not sure what the base color of my snail is going to be yet. Wondering if I'm putting too much color in here initially. We're going to do a little more experimenting here in just a second on building this snail up. I think we're going to want to add thinking that red, we may have to go with a nice wash of reds here in a second. Just kind of really, I feel like that should be almost a primary color with his shell. I think. Let's get them all the same color. Now, I think play with the red and see if that red works. One way or another, if I add red, it's working because it's going to stay. But I think that's where it needs to go. Let's see, where are we at? An hour and 43 minutes? Really, that's not too bad. It goes about an hour for the robot. I said about an hour for the snails. So I think we're probably going to hit the snails pretty much right at the 1 hour mark. We'll be done with these guys as well. So I'm calling it pretty much on schedule, which is really good. Nice, smooth work pace. Okay, so now we got these purples in here. I'm gonna go in here with some reds, some browns, then back into the creams, and then back into the light white. Then I'll add the shadows and the highlights. So we're gonna actually muddy this up now. We have a base. We're gonna make it a little bit on the muddy side. This red, we're not gonna go crazy with the red. I'm just gonna get the red tones in there. I'm not gonna try to overdo anything we've already done. Works out the way I'm hoping it does. Should be. Should add to the blues and the purples. I think we're doing an okay job. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And coming out about like I imagined. And darken the red up some near the bottom or the shadows. So that into that purple and that blue some. Forget we still have to go in here with we haven't done that shadows and the highlights yet. That'll be the last phase. Too red, get a water in there. Go. So let's red up a little bit. There he is. Definitely do not want to overdo the red. Thank you, Stacy. Cool. Now let's go into the other ones and do the same thing. No worries. You guys got things to do. I just appreciate you showing up, giving me a watch. Always appreciated. Especially if you have kids you're trying to put to bed. That's awesome. Alright, here we go. Getting the red in there. Next we're going to do is bring in the browns. And creams. We're just trying to make this a kaleidoscope. That snail shell can stay real simple. He's the little guy. Not too worried about the details on that guy. Okay guys, now let's do in the brown. And this is just going to go basically into the main crevices and some of the veining details. A lot of this purple ends up getting covered up, but that is just fine. That's kind of what we intended on it to happen. Cool. Adds a lot of life and color to that shell. All those underneath colors, we're kind of covering them back up now, but they show through and they give it life. Cool. Let's add some cream. Then we got the shadows and the highlights. We're so close to getting done with this. And now he's got full color. He's ready for the highlights and shadows. Same thing into this one. And the same thing to this one right here. Okay, first we're gonna go in that Payne's Gray. First base, shadows. Get some fresh Payne's Gray out. That one I have out there is getting crusty, so we're gonna add a little new ink out there to play off of. A lot of Payne's Gray. We're not gonna get too crazy with this. Patience. Now, it may seem like I put just too much color in here, like all those steps were necessary, but the look what I was going for is like the shell has multiple layers to it. As a snail shell would be built up long over time, and have like lots of ridges and cut texture to it. So the color I'm built up was kind of helping represent that texture. That was the entire reason for it. If you wondered why did he build so many layers, was it unnecessary? It may have been, but I don't believe so, because I believe it really gives it an effect, especially seeing it in person, that there is a multitude of layers and strides and bands throughout the entire shell. So that is why I've done so many layers of color. That really helps build that. Okay, we're at that last fade. We're gonna put some little white on this guy. Bringing in our highlights. That's some old crusty white. Let's put some fresh ink out. So good base. Bringing up our highlights on the top surface of it. Really liking the way this is turning out, guys. This one is fantastic. Definitely one of my favorites. I seem to be saying that a lot, and I'm kind of stoked about that. If I can end my live stream every time saying this is one of my favorites, then chalk it up to an absolute successful night, because I'm not going to say it every night for sure, but if I can keep having successful live streams, in my opinion, of what I'm doing in my work, I feel like I'm growing on this channel and growing as an artist, and that is the key and one of the most important reasons I'm doing this whole YouTube channel. It's not to get YouTube rich, it's not to get YouTube famous, it's literally to just develop my own skill and my own craft and force myself to work on a regular, constant basis to see how well I can grow as an artist. And I hope you'll come along with me. I mean, there's nothing that says you can't grab a piece of paper or pencil and draw with me. We're going to be drawing here every week. And I'm hoping that you'll just I'll start building a little bit of community of people who are like-minded artists that want to start developing their craft a little bit further. And this is more of a drawing session, more of a drawing jam session. Kind of my hopes for this live stream is to become kind of an artist meetup so we can all hang out and just draw. We're going to be incorporating that concept more and more into this channel as we grow, at least with the live stream portion of it. That's kind of where I want to really push the live stream side of it. You know, there's other facets of this YouTube channel as far as me making videos and clips and stuff like that. Those are designed less so, those are designed more to build the channel and build the brand and all that. But the live stream, I'm hoping to build a community. We're going to start working towards that. If you want to be part of that community, I mean, please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and consider drawing with us next time we go live. Whatever medium you want, whatever subject you want, I will be working on most likely robots and animals. But by all means, you know your style, work on that. Develop your own craft in a like-minded community where we can all kind of bounce ideas off each other. Okay, I don't know. Let's put just a little bit of highlights on this little guy. Very little. Nice thing about him being so tiny is I don't have to do a whole lot to him. Oh, God, that is awesome. Loving what I can do with these acrylic inks. I'm getting better every time I go live, and that is extremely exciting for myself. You want to see something kind of comical? It's only been a few months since I've started going live. I think this is live stream number 45. Go back to live stream 1, 2, and 3, or early ones. See how much I have grown so far as an artist. That is the entire point of this channel. Challenge yourself, see how much you can grow when you create on a regular basis. And the proof is in the pudding. Just go back to, in 2 months' time, and a new medium, acrylic inks, which I did not work very much with until I got into doing YouTube and these live streams. Like I said, I flirted with them a little bit when I first started doing YouTube 2 years ago, I think it was. But I quickly fell off, quit doing YouTube, did back to my heavy body acrylics. And I never really touched them again until I tried to pick up YouTube. Because the idea is I can work with these, a lot faster than the heavy bodied acrylics. But I had not a lot of experience with them. So my main body experience with these is literally right here on this YouTube channel. So go back in my live stream and see how much I've developed. Because this drawing should be proof that I'm getting better with acrylic inks. Tooting my own horn here. Honk, toot toot. This piece is amazing. I am thoroughly impressed with myself and what I'm starting to be able to accomplish with these acrylic inks. So I also need to do a little bit of research. I learn new techniques, see what I can come up with, and then see how I can incorporate it in my own body of work. Yeah. Now we're almost to get ready to do the blackout part. That is the final detail we're going to go for in this piece. Good. I'm going to call this Snails complete. Now the most scary and risky part of the entire piece. My brush is over there. Let me grab it. What is I want too big of a brush. I don't want too small of a brush. I'm trying to think, what did I use last time? That brush I used last time was about perfect. Might have been this one. All right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to outline the whole thing, fill in the eyes, outline it, and then we'll block it in with ink. Make sure this tape has got a good seal all the way around. Okay. Now once we're done with this, you may notice that we might need to go back in and add, you know, a little bit of darkness or highlights in him to make him pop a bit better. We will know soon enough. Black out. Okay, we're going to use straight out of the tube. We do not want to use any white on this. I only did damp the brush. The bristles are nice and flowy. I'm drying completely off. Then we go into the ink. We want to go pure ink so that we can get it done in one layer. If we do any water washes, add any water to it, we will have to use multiple layers to get it to go full black. Now, this is also right here the riskiest part of it all, the outlining phase. If I cross over anything that we don't want to be black, it can be difficult to correct it. Take our time, breathe. This is definitely a color within the lines type situation. If my big old head gets in the shot here, it's because I'm getting real close. I can look over my glasses because I am half blind and in desperate need of a new prescription. So I gotta get in there a little bit, stick my big old head in this shot. So I apologize, but that's just what we're gonna have to do. Now I'm gonna give it a nice flood layer all the way around. Then we'll take the big brush in. We don't have to worry about getting too close to our actual subjects. And there might be if you know of any faster ways of doing this, feel free to leave it in comments. I can go back and take a look at it. I'm always open to new suggestions, and I'm always open to learn and about new techniques. Gonna look fantastic all blacked out, I think. Blacking this out is actually gonna give it a whole new element. I think it was actually gonna be, I think it's gonna be a real good call now that I'm seeing what it's gonna look like. I was a little nervous, but I did like the way it looked on the white background. Now that I'm seeing it come to life, pretty sure I made a good call on this. Like I said, I did this last week. I did a blacked out background last week. And after I did finish that, I was like, yep, we're doing more of this. This is definitely going to become a thing. I was anxious to try another blacked out background. No promises I'll do the next one blacked out, but From time to time, if the drawing calls for it, yep, we'll go into this. I'm definitely not going to be scared to make the background black. One drawback is it's a little time consuming, so bear with me, guys. We'll get through this pretty quick. Or as fast as possible, I should say. Once I finish the outlining. The most tedious and the most crucial. The rest of it will just get a snap of the fingers and it'll be done. Because that big old brush is going to take no time at all. Okay, one snail outlined. Really tight little area here with the snail. It might have been a good day for the hat. This old shaggy hair of mine. That would be nice. Alright. I think that's just about all the hard details. Now we can just kind of basically outline. The rest of this should be pretty quick. Right. Halfway done, guys. One side done. One side left to go. Bit in there, so getting this line up a little bit overzealous there. Oh, real easy to get impatient right here and start working things fast because you want to be done. Again, we're working with straight black. No water, straight black. So it's more important that we take our time and rush it. There's one mistake at this phase could really lead to some curse words. It would be extremely frustrating. I promise you, I have made those mistakes multitudes of times. You know what? Right here, let's just go ahead and get this eyes in. Right. Now, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, I want to know your opinions. I think that, you know, starting off with the initial pencil sketch really does allow me to time and energy on the details and build things up a little bit more in the same time frame. Like here we're 2 hours and 16 minutes. Had we done the sketch ahead of time, we'd be sitting around a little bit closer to that 3 hour mark. And also doing them allows me to be less under pressure and develop a stronger sketch. In other words, I can get a better sketch than when I start from scratch. So I'd love to know in the comments whether you think this is a good thing or if you still want to see me develop the actual sketch live. Or perhaps I can do those in a whole different live stream or video where I talk about developing sketches and develop sketches maybe on separate videos that are not as long. That's an idea, something we could do here on the channel. I'd love to hear your opinions. Hit me up with a comment. Let me know what you think. I mean, what kind of things you'd like to see me if you're into art and you're into drawing. What kind of things you'd like to see me creating and doing. Again, within my wheelhouse of robots and animals, that's typically what I do here on the channel. What I do in my art in general. I mean, I call my channel Stinky Robot for a reason, because I draw copious amounts of robots all the time, and I loved juxtaposing them with animals. So that is my wheelhouse. So offer any suggestions you have along those lines, and I will always take them into advisement. I'm all about growing as an artist, and that's the entire purpose of this channel. So hit me up. Let me know what I can do. What you think would make for a strong piece. Okay, so bring that big brush out now. Clean this off twice because I went pure black. I'll put a little more ink out so I don't run out mid. Try to get a good saturation. I mean, that alone looks kind of cool, right? Got to do the initial water dip. Water dip it, dry it, and I'll get a good saturation. I need more ink. More ink, sir, more ink. This requires quite a bit put down in the beginning. I'm doing a full flood. There we go. Now that's plenty of ink. That's definitely better. Right up on the inside there. This is not the same brush I used last time. This one is not working quite as well. It wants to give me that, see, those line separations, but we're almost done. It'll work to the end of it. Next time I won't use this brush again. I think I gotta figure out which brush I used last time. I know, I can check the video. Idea? Fourth, make sure I get all the spaces filled in. Extra careful not to touch my artwork. Cool. See if I got any more white spots like that one right there. All blacked out now. And I do believe I'll take some Payne's gray in here and I'm gonna just darken up some of my highlights to help bring it into a darker realm with the background. So when it's all white, it looks really dark. But when you put the black on there, just gonna have to go back in the not so much the highlights, well, sorry, the shadows. Words, talking hard. The shadow's gonna need to be darkened up a little bit. We'll be using the Payne's gray to do so. First, I think I want to take my brush pen. I'm gonna come right across the bottom here. So I got a nice clean line across that bottom, that back, and Payne's gray one last final time. Then we are going to peel and reveal my favorite part of every single piece. Peel it, sign it, peel it. First things first, blow dryer. Now this should not require a lot of ink. Just strategically placed, it should be fine. Double check that that is Payne's. That would be a massive mistake to grab the wrong color at this point. With the sharper brush. A nice sharp brush. A little bit watery. Need slime and moss. Slime and moss would have been an awesome element to add to this for sure. And I think if I was going with a larger body of work, larger body work, doing a larger painting and more detailed painting, then yeah, I think I definitely would. Definitely. Taking my darkest shadows and making them even darker. This is sometimes the element until you're completely done. You can look it back over. You would have completely missed had you not. Just take the time, evaluate the final push. Is there anything else I need to do? It's real tempting just to chalk it up to like, hey, that was my last step. I'm done. But just take a second. If you come this far down the road, take a look at it. Is there anything else it needs? Little touch-ups. Now's your time to take a good piece and turn it into a great piece. Again, toot toot. Tooting that horn. I think this is a phenomenal piece, and I'm very happy with it. And I know my own work, so it's kind of like, you know, I don't mean to sound egotistical. Sometimes, you know, I do know my own work because I stare at it a lot. So when I knock a piece out and I take it to the next level and I'm extremely proud about it, I say something like, this is just, I feel like I was extremely successful in this painting. I would love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear your, you know, what you think of it. If you think it's a royal piece of crap, hey, let me know. I'm a big boy. I can take a little criticism. I've done a lot of critiques in my time. But hey, if you think it's great, let me know. Feed my ego a little bit. It doesn't hurt to hear things like, hey, that painting was awesome. And if you're interested in buying this piece or any other piece that I've made on the live streams, if they're available, you can always go to StinkyRobotArt.com. They are currently sold as blind boxes. But easily, you don't want a blind box. It's real simple. All you gotta do is just shoot me an email right there on my website, hit the contact button, and just contact me and say, hey, I really like, you know, the snail you did live stream number 45. Is it still available? If it is available, then I'll make sure that I'll let you know. And then when you make the purchase, I'll be sure to send that one out to you. It's a real simple process. Takes 2 seconds. It's a quick email and done. We are going to be going away from that here pretty soon. We're going to keep the blind box option, but I think I'm going over the next week or two. So watch for the development. I'll announce when it officially becomes a thing. But I'm going to be updating the website on a regular basis and keep probably the newest, say, 6 live streams available to buy as is. So that you can have a direct buying source. If you watch the video and you're like, this one particular one I just did, then you'll be able to just jump on there and purchase it. And then but to prevent me from having a whole bunch on the stream for sale at once, I will be only keeping about 6 of them on, the newest 6. The older ones will drop off. Now, they will still be available upon request, just like they are now, and they will be available via the blind boxes, if what's available, if you order it. So you still have the option to say, hey, I want one, but I don't know which one, surprise me. And then the blind box option will still be available for you to hit, if that's something you're into. And I know my daughter is massively into blind box stuff. That's kind of half the reason I did it. She loves the blind box stuff. And I know there's a few people out there that actually really do like blind boxes. So still available for you. I might as well say it one more last time while we're putting these final last tiny little details on there. Is don't forget, above my head right now, you see that print? That's Rusty's Pigeons. Rusty's Pigeons is one of the prints that is going to be given away on June 16th to a one lucky subscriber. So if you're not subscribed already, make sure you get subscribed. Jumped over to the website, StinkyRobotArt.com. After you subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you fill out the entry form right there on the homepage of my website, StinkyRobotArt.com. That's the website below me right there. All the information is in the description if you want to take a second to read up on it and make sure you're eligible for the contest. I will be doing the drawing live on the YouTube, on the live stream. So we will live stream the winner on June 16th. So make sure you hit that bell notification so you know when I go live so you do not miss it. I am going to call that right there. So we're going to sign this sucker, peel it, and call this extremely successful. Super happy with this one. Also, let me know one last thing for anybody's on here. seeing this now and then going back and reviewing the live stream when it goes live after I'm done, I added this one extra light right here. I don't know if it's washing it out again. I thought it might look a little bit better. So this is what I've been doing right here. Probably more like that is what I have been doing. Does this look better, or is this light adding or taking away from it? I'm not sure. I will be evaluating this at the end of this live stream to see if it worked or not. Hopefully it's not too washed out. I thought I'd add extra light today and see how it worked. But make sure this pen is working. That would be bad. Go. Let's peel it and let's see how this turned out. See if we can get a nice clean peel. All that black stayed onto the edges. So far so good. It's looking good. There's one side done. Let's go this way. All right, 2 clean poles. And of course, at the very end, we always throw a mat on it, see how it's gonna look. When you buy one of these, they do come with a mat. So all you gotta do is buy a frame and drop them in a 9 by 12 inch frame, and you're done. So they are pre-matted with an acid-free mat that I will send with the piece. And then one tiny little black finger smudge from probably this finger. I gotta be careful of that when I'm doing the blackouts. The black smudges happen. That's it. Grab us a white mat. And there you go. Add it up. That is what it looks like when it comes to you in the mail if you happen to buy one. Again, this is live stream episode number 45. So if you're interested in 45, send me a message on the YouTube and say I'm interested in this one. And again, within the next week or two, just keep an eye out. It's probably, I'm going to shoot for this week, but it'll happen within the next week or two. I'm going to start actually having these available on the website for at least the first 6 or 8, backlogging 6 to 8. So you have an opportunity, if you saw one of the newer live streams, to go on and purchase one of the newer live streams. So that, for instance, if you'd have the option of going in and buying this one right now if you wish to, or rather skipping that whole blind box thing. Like I said, I've got some feedback that the blind boxes are not the best and they would like to see more of a direct purchasing process, so they can skip the whole process of contacting me, which is fully understandable. I agree 100%. So we're going to work on that. That will be coming as a quick change, and I'll let you know on the live stream when I do. Again, check the website, and that'll be the quickest way to find out, is jump on there yourself, buy one, and see if it's been corrected or not. If not, shoot me a comment or let me know exactly which one you want to purchase, and we'll go from there. But guys, another successful live stream. I am super happy for everyone who showed up. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys. We appreciate you. And we will see you. I'm going to try to put out another one this week. No promises, but we're going to shoot for it. So guys, we'll see you later on. Thanks for showing up. Bye guys. Remember, bell notifications so you know when I go live.